Before we start, the gameplay in the background is a 38-4 domination game with the M4A1 spec'd out entirely for mobility. This is the best game I've had over the weekend, so I guess you could imagine just how rough it was for me to do well in this game. Don't judge me. Anyways, the Modern Warfare beta is honestly the most frustrating video game I've played since Battlefield 5, and that isn't even an understatement. The meta in this game is the most disgusting and passive playstyle I've ever seen. Players are constantly forced to be ADS'd as much as possible and to hold angles as if their life simply depended on it. I think this is a combination of factors such as the broken peer-to-peer networking, the blazingly fast time to kill, perks, and the minimap changes. The netcode for the beta was absolutely horrendous. You would die to people instantly upon rounding a corner into a room, even though on the kill cam on their screen, they had a near second of seeing you before firing. Taking damage behind cover was extremely annoying as well. Luckily, I never ran into the issue of terrible hit registration, and by that I mean mag dumping an entire magazine into someone and having none of it register, like I do in both Battlefield 5 and Battlefield 4. Thankfully, the peer-to-peer networking was only for the beta, as the full release will have dedicated servers as per usual, so I pray to God that the netcode isn't terrible at launch, but it could be, so don't be surprised. The time to kill is in line with older Modern Warfare games, which dropped enemies in like 3 to 4 bullets with weapons like casually shooting at high rates of fire, such as like 800 or 900. So if you're an older Call of Duty fan, this is probably the norm for you, but for me, I prefer something a bit slower. Ideally, I would like something closer to Black Ops 2 in terms of TTK, which is fast enough to drop multiple enemies but still slow enough to turn on someone when you're getting shot at. Black Ops 4 took it a bit too far with its higher time to kill and 150 health, even compared to, let's say, a Battlefield game, so I wasn't really a fan of that. The fast time to kill in Modern Warfare, along with the poor netcode, has definitely contributed heavily to the passive meta of this game. Since you die so fast, people take it far more slow and wait for enemies to come to them. This makes it a bit more difficult for players if you just want to run around expecting to shoot people like you would do in a Call of Duty game, as you're heavily punished, and I mean heavily, for bad positioning in this game. All in all, I think a slightly longer time to kill and a speed buff to actions like ADSing and reloading while on the run would help to get more people moving in this game. So, let's talk about movement. The movement in Modern Warfare isn't as terrible as older Modern Warfare games since you have unlimited sprint this time around and the slide. Though the slide could definitely see a buff so that it could be used a bit more offensively. Just being able to shoot or ADS during a slide would definitely help in my opinion. Different movement speeds depending on your weaponry is honestly terrible and makes LMGs feel like total garbage. The slow ADS time in this game definitely needs to be sped up, as you could literally die before bringing up your weapon. That's garbage. Unlike Battlefield, consecutive 80-80 spam or 2 jumps doesn't slow you down to a halt, which is what I like to see. Anything to give the player more freedom is perfectly fine in my book. So, the UI. It definitely needs some work. The number one issue for me was capping flags in Domination, which actually put the score bar an inch above your iron sight, which is extremely annoying and just obstructs your view. Teammate icons through multiple buildings just clutter your view and sometimes actually show above enemies, which can lead you to not firing upon them, which obviously results in your death, which is extremely frustrating. The minimap could also see much more customization, such as size, opacity, and changing the zoom levels. Speaking of the minimap, showing red dots while soldiers are firing would make camping easier to combat, as you would see their blip on the minimap. This is already in Ground War, and makes it easy to see if someone is in a room or off somewhere on their own, let's say on a hill in the back of the map. If they added it to the rest of the main game, I think it would help a ton and give more players awareness in this absolutely horrendous game. That's about it for my thoughts on this game. I probably missed some stuff, of course, so sorry about that. Enjoy the rest of the gameplay, and I'll see you on the next video, whenever that will be.
We're halfway there, keep fighting. Need backup at Charlie. Friendly UAV overhead.
Tracker 3-3, arriving on station.
Hostiles have Charlie. Enemy UAV overhead.
It's getting pretty hot up here, Guaranteed.
two objectives. Lock it down. We've got a UAV on cruise missile. Go for launch.
This is Jaguar 3-0. Solid copy.
Securing Charlie. Assist your team at A. Got a VTOL on station. Ready. Check your bloody fire. Lost A. We're taking Charlie. Enemy UAV overhead.
Be advised, UAV is bingo fuel.
Hostiles at Bravo. Go.
Jaguar 3-0. Cruise missile away.
You're needed at Bravo. Securing Charlie.
Nice shot, good kill.
Enemy holds all objectives. Retake those points. Got Charlie.
Striker 3-2-1. Go faster.
Securing Bravo. Taking back. Enemy holds two objectives. Take them back. Bravo secure. Losing Charlie.
Getting pretty hot up here, Gracie.
Losing Charlie. Securing Alpha. We've lost Charlie. We're on Alpha. Stand by.
Tearing us up. Can't take it.
Friendly UAV overhead. Got Alpha. Hostiles are taking Bravo. Hello, cruise missile away. Check fire! Check fire! Securing Charlie. We're holding two. We have the advantage. Enemy UAV overhead. Losing B. Securing Bravo. Enemy personal radar in the air. We've got a UAV on station, ready for flyout.
This is Jaguar 3-0. Solid copy. UAV beginning flyover.
They've got two objectives. Keep it.
This is Jaguar 3-0. Cruise missile away.
Securing Bravo.
Direct hit. Be advised, UAV is bingo fuel.
Bravo secure. We're winning this. Keep it tight. We're holding two. We have the advantage. Got a VTOL on station, ready to deploy. Well done.